shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarms setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mine. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Michael. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
Well, hi everybody, and welcome to Pema TV.
Welcome to Friday, May 31st, 2013, the last day of May.
Oh my goodness.
Already.
Somebody's got a birthday next month, and that person's going to be way old.
Leave my daughter out of this.
Yeah, I know, Heather. I'm sorry. I apologize, Heather. Anyway, lots of exciting stuff. Going to have some really big announcements I don't think we're quite ready for yet. I don't have anything put up for we can't do it because I don't have the shot set up to announce it. So it'll just have to wait till probably Monday night. Monday night would probably be a lovely time to make
Monday
that
night would be a lovely time. But I would like to point out with our lovely guests this evening, you can go to her site and get one of these beautiful shirts. See this shirt? Yes, you need one of these shirts. I had to stalk her for a long time to get this shirt. Huh.
Yes, you did. A couple of years, actually.
And drove 27 hours.
Yeah.
That's how important this shirt is.
Next big festival we're going to be a part of will be the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of June, which is tomorrow. Starts tomorrow. June does.
The weirder side of Shreveport.
And it's so cool that, this is actually a city doing this.
Yeah. Maybe if you're really lucky, you'll get a small town interested. But this is a big city.
That's right.
Well, it's a big city according to Duck Dynasty.
Well, yeah, but anything over 500 is a big city according to Duck Dynasty.
Well, around here, anything over 5,000 is a big city.
Yeah, but go to our website or just Google Downtown Paranormal Festival in Shreveport, and it'll come up.
Or just put Shreveport Paranormal, and it'll pop up.
Yep.
Because that's how I keep finding it.
But tonight,
we have a fantabulous guest.
You know what? She's absolutely so fantastic that on the fantastic scale, she is like way off, and on the good end, way over there.
Yeah. And she makes a very, very... She brings excellent ricotta pies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there ain't no lie about that. That was almost as good as sex right there. I'm here to tell you right now. Almost.
I don't know.
Yeah, but there's
Depends
days.
on the day.
There's
days when it's better. Anyway.
And for those of you that don't understand that, as you get older, it will make more sense to you.
Yeah. Anyway, our guest this evening is
The Right Reverend.
the Right Reverend. She is a paranormal researcher. She is an author. And she has many gifts, but I'm not going to label those gifts. Our guest this evening is Reverend Robyn Marie.
The Right Reverend Robyn Marie.
Not the left Reverend.
Not the left one, because the left one. But the right one, right on.
Good evening, my friend.
Good evening.
My friend, see, she's talking to you. She don't like me no more.
No. There's days.
There's days.
I understand her
Days, you know.
point. There's days.
It's kind of every.
How have you been since the Shanley? Because I know you had surgery that next day, you poor thing.
Yes, the next morning at 5:30 a.m., they took off a meniscus tear that I had. So I have been laid up and healing from that and living on potato salad. So
I've been through stretches where I've done that too, so it's awesome.
yeah, it's driven me crazy being in bed for 3 weeks.
I can imagine, because you're pretty active. I mean,
I'm all over the place.
yeah.
So I pretty much had to shut down all business, and the last week or so I was feeling a little better. Every day is a little bit better.
Did they give you a time frame? Is it going to be like a couple more weeks till you're like out terrorizing the general public again, or?
They said 2 months,
Ow.
pretty much, and it's going to take about 6 months for me to get back to normal.
Yow.
Yes, I was normal once.
You'll have it in 3.
I can't see her sitting still that long.
No.
She'd be like, yeah, you
No.
people are crazy. I'm out of
No,
here.
today was my first day without crutches. So, and I can go like, I don't know, 6, 8. I'm not good. I don't know, a few yards. I'm trying to measure. I'm thinking a football field, but that was a nice thought.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you're up and moving around.
Oh, and
Yeah.
your entire Shanley cheering squad has made it to the chat rooms. If you can't see that.
Yes, Patty brought
Oh,
pom-poms.
wonderful. Oh, yes, a lot of friends.
Mary.
Wonderful Patty. I had a
Mary's,
wonderful time at the Shanley. I just loved it.
Cynthia's in there, and Mary's in there. And yeah, the whole,
So nice.
the whole gang.
Well, I just want to commend the two of you and Mary Gasparo for doing the most wonderful time that everybody had. Just all friends coming together and spiritual things that happened to us, and a connection that we've made since that, we're all kind of in each other's business at the moment, which is really nice to know that you have that love and support that's coming out, all because of your event.
And we fed her.
Way to go.
Yes,
You did
you
good.
had meatballs,
You did
you had
good,
pasta,
Buckaroo.
you had salad.
We had all kinds of craziness going on.
Yes. But I brought the regatta pie.
Yes, she did.
Hmm?
We give her total credit for the pie. Because, believe it or not, we had no cheesecake anywhere to be found. And in walks Robyn with the only cheese we had.
Yeah.
So,
What's good about that is it is lower in calories. So,
well, not after I ate the whole pie,
well, that's the thing, portion control. But that's the type of thing you have to have more than one piece.
Usually.
I only got one piece because once everybody heard how good
Well,
it
you
was.
took one piece in the whole pie.
No, seriously, once everybody heard how good it was or took a bite off someone else's plate, it was gone.
Yeah.
There was no going back for seconds on anything there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things that we've talked about, especially since the event, there was a lot of very spiritual connections that were made by people that had never met each other. And I was wondering if you could talk about that. That's a pretty rare event to have that happen, especially at a convention.
I think so. And, you know, it was just a combination of the people that you had selected to be part of that. And I think the blend of it was a very good mix. And, you know, it's kind of hit or miss when you do certain things like that. It doesn't always work out that way. But you had a lot of people that were there, not all of us, but some of us were very well developed as far as mediumship and psychic abilities and all of that. And we tend to be more the spiritual side that we're connected with. And, you know, D-Dove, Patty, that's, you know, in the chat room, just wonderful people that I know really know their stuff. They're very connected. And I think, and I'm going to touch on what happened with Kim, her moment that she had. You know, what I want to say is that when all of us are together and you have people that are so developed and so focused on what their profession is and our calling, that we start to almost bounce off each other, the energy, and we raise the energy in the room. And so people like Kim start to have these aha moments and sightings and, you know, clairaudience. They'll hear something, or they'll see a shadow, or they start to get into deep conversations like Eric and I did late in the evening and into the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I really think it's the combination. You start to play off each other. And it can happen the opposite way. You know, sometimes we go to these conventions and everybody has an attitude and everybody's just in a nasty place. And that makes you bounce off each other. You know, you kind of feed into that. And I'm very happy with the way this went. And I look forward to doing it again with you.
Well, it wasn't an aha moment. It was a holy crap moment.
Yeah. You used a few other words.
The spiritual 2x4, so to speak?
Actually, what I said was, and I quote, "What the hell is this?" Robyn had handed me her camera to show me a picture she had taken of Patty on the steps.
Yes. Clairvoyantly, I saw something.
When she handed me the camera, I'm looking at a video that has nothing to do with the steps or Patty or anybody living in that building.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, Patty, you saw it as you handed it to me. You saw motion as you handed it to me. Patty saw motion right as I looked up and said, "What the hell is this?" And then it stopped and went back to the picture.
Right, a picture mode. Yeah.
But there was no video on the camera.
No. I don't even know how to run that.
I have it on mine too, and I don't know either, so yeah.
I never use it. You know, it's like a 30-second clip that you can do.
Well, apparently they used all 30 seconds just to mess with my head. What are you
Yeah,
about?
so when I handed it to you, I saw everything moving, and I saw your reaction, and that's what was priceless.
Well,
She doesn't get got much, but when she gets got, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a good one.
okay, I saw in her hand, I saw the picture. I saw the shadow they were talking about. When she handed it to me, it was no longer that picture. Just saying.
Yeah. And the picture I did shoot in the moment was on the camera. You know, we had to go back to that mode, like I said, but there was definitely some type of shadow person that was standing down in front of Patty. And now I clairvoyantly saw behind her a shadow that was walking by. So it's like there was either two spirits there, or one was mimicking itself as a shadow person down on the staircase. And we try to debunk everything and rule things out that, you know, shadows were coming off of her and casting on the wall. But where the light was coming from, it couldn't possibly be that way.
Okay, and actually, I never saw the shadow in front of her. What I saw was head and shoulders at the top of the steps on the other side of the rail.
Right.
So,
So that's where I saw it coming from. This was physically seeing a spirit go across.
and I did tell Patty and Robyn I'm not playing with the two of them together anymore.
Oh, there's much more to come.
Oh, I know. And you people will set me up again. I know. You
And
people
I
as
want
in
to
you and them.
commend you on using your dowsing rods.
I used yours, actually.
Well, yes, borrowed.
Yes. I did ask.
You rocked them.
I like to, you know me, I'm a play baby from start to finish, and I like to play with them. I like for them to do what they want to do most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was doing. I was standing at Robyn's booth going, okay, where's so-and-so? And whoop, there they go. Okay, show her happy. And they were all over the place, and yeah.
I like to see that, that's the very first thing that my family ever had me do was to go out and scry with, with the dowsing rods. And, I combine it. Scrying is for you looking into something, so clairvoyantly and clairaudiently to listen. But just like you use a crystal ball or tarot cards or anything, you start to move that energy with the dowsing rods. And so my grandmother, to entertain me, said, here you go, here's a stick. This is what Native Americans do. She said, go outside and try to find the water in the backyard. And so in connecting with the water, that's where spirit travels. I mean, we know this scientifically now. It conducts energy.
Right. I was sitting over with Tracy Ray for a while, and she had the pendulums hanging on that little tree. And we had one that just absolutely would not sit still. It was swinging and swaying and everything else. And we kept trying to get it to stop. Well, every time I'd stick my hand up for it to stop, this other one would swing toward me. I actually came home with it.
I love pendulums too.
It decided it had to be mine, I guess, because Tracy's like, just take it.
Well, it's true. A lot of psychics or mediums will say that those divining tools choose us.
Well, this one, every time I go to try to stop the one, it was like 3 or 4 branches over, it would swing toward me. So she's like, yeah, this one's just going home with you. It was rose quartz.
So did my camera.
Yeah. No, your camera didn't, because every time I touched it, it would go low battery, except for the video. But yeah, it was a real pretty rose quartz with a smoky quartz pearl on top. It was really pretty.
Very nice.
But we had so much fun. I mean, I ran around like a chicken with my head cut off literally most of the weekend. But it was fun.
Yes, I know you were very, very busy, but you did an awesome job. And I'm not saying that because I like you.
Well, I have to say it wasn't just me. Our entire staff, everybody involved kicked in. I mean, even some of our speakers were in the kitchen helping cook and everything else. So it was everybody. Without Sal, Jen, Cynthia, Mark.
2 fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Everybody did their thing. I noticed, though, you were kind of orchestrating it. And, being the mother hen out there, making sure everybody stayed in line. And I know that it takes a lot, because I've had to do that and have run many, many events. Since I was a teenager, I've done events.
Well, apparently I was a bad mommy, because I found out the 2 sitting at the ticket booth probably ate the equivalent of a small confectionery store.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, they were.
I figured that out when I asked a question. I said, where am I supposed to sit? And they had, stuff hanging from their lip over here, And they said, wait a minute. And they went down for another bite. So they were really enjoying it. But I have to say, the food was so great. I certainly don't blame them.
Well, you know, and the thing about it too, I mean, one of the reasons why they concentrated so much on that was everybody's been to a convention. Everybody that was there has been to a convention.
Well, most of them.
Most of them had been to a convention to the point to where you know that to a certain degree you're stuck at your table for 12 hours. And on depending on the convention, sometimes you never get a chance to go visit with anybody else. You know, it's craziness sometimes.
I know I never do.
So
I never enjoy them.
So we wanted to make sure that everybody that was there had a chance to eat. You know, at least stay hydrated and eat while you were there. So that way, at the end of the day, you're as energized as you need to be to enjoy the rest of the evening. Because that's pretty much how the girls planned it out. Was during the days was for the crowd that came in and for the visitors to the convention, but the nighttime was pretty much for everybody that was there. You know, and it worked out really well.
And the spirits too.
Well, yeah.
Oh, they were definitely in a party mood that week, and I have never seen that place that crazy with action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jen and I guess they drug Alicia into it. We're sitting there with fun dips and lick'em sticks and charmed pops and
you could almost
kinds of goodies.
Well, you can see Wilford Brimley standing next to him, going, "Yeah, keep that up there, kiddo. You're gonna have some diabetes before this is all over with." But yeah, they were slamming. But they were having such a good time. It was like watching two kids at Halloween.
it was.
So you didn't want to tell them to stop. You know.
Well, and Patty, we lost all control of Patty. She wouldn't sit in her booth. She spent more time over with Robyn and Dee and Mary than she did.
I know, everybody was around me. It was great.
Except
time.
for James, he kept trying to drive away.
James is James.
Yeah.
And for your guests, we're talking about James McCann.
Who drove next door to get us drink.
Yeah, he did.
He got in the car and found out that the general store was actually next door to the Shanley.
So less than 100 yards away. So I'm glad I told him, I'm glad you didn't blink or cough.
And you'd have wound up.
Because you'd have passed it. You'd have never seen it.
He's so funny.
And he's still asking us for gas money. He
makes me absolutely crazy. We've been friends for years, but he is such a phenomenal researcher and is just so pristine in capturing his EVPs and, recording all of his findings. I have to forgive the guy.
Yeah. So
he knows he's going to be around with me for a very long time.
Just watch him. He'll hit you up for gas money.
Yeah. He usually hits me up for a couch.
How does he put... Never mind. I don't want to know how he gets that in the car. But anyway. Do you have any major plans coming up? Or is everything kind of on hold till you heal all the way up?
I kind of shut down the business and everything until July 1st. And that's when my practice should open down in Wilkes-Barre. And then shortly after that, I'll be opening one in Jim Thorpe. So I'm really excited about that. I will be moving from Boston down to Pennsylvania, but I like to tell all of my clients that absolutely nothing is going to change because I spend more time going away from Boston than I do being here. And all my events are elsewhere. So, it's in the northeastern part, just outside of New York. So I'll be able to get to New Jersey and Philly and, down to Maryland and certainly Gettysburg. I'm going to be living down in Gettysburg if I can. And I want to start up my radio show again and hopefully get it on to Sirius FM, XM rather, and that will be out of Manhattan.
Yeah, that's a big deal too. If you can get on satellite, that's a huge deal.
I'd like to. If not, I actually have an AM and an FM station that's going to be probably picking me up, and they're in Northeast Pennsylvania, and I know that they have the casino. The casino, they do everything for them, and they have their own network and everything else. So those people may pick me up.
That's awesome.
Well, I'd like to put it out there now. We are taking donations for the Mary/Robyn Bail Fund, because if the two of them are in Pennsylvania too long together,
Yes.
we're going to need it.
Yes, I'm going to have Mary Gasparo with me and in cahoots, and we're going to get into all kinds of trouble. And I've known Mary for a very long time. She goes all the way back with me to Lights Out when I first started my radio show, and that's, you know, about 6 years ago. And, you know, it's going to be really nice to be able to spend time with her. And I've seen her come around in many ways, you know, in development, not only maybe in, well, she wouldn't admit to this, I don't think, but her psychic abilities. And working with history and research and tying all of that in with, you know, the paranormal, I think that's so wonderful. You know, she had a wonderful concept years ago, and I'm so glad that she took it and she's doing it.
Yeah, we're so proud of our little Mary. I mean, she got her book out there this year, and she did her first speaking
Yeah.
engagement, and her animal communications. We're just so proud of her.
Yes, and that's a wonderful
Raise her
thing.
book.
I mean, looking on the upside of being laid up for a few weeks, like I have been, I got to thoroughly read her book, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's comforting.
Yeah, that's one thing. A lot of people, especially a lot of single people, their lives revolve around their pets. And speaking of pets,
Yes.
Animals Impacting the World, written by Mary Gasparo
And Dinah Roseberry.
and Dinah Roseberry.
Yeah.
We have to get both of them.
That's wonderful. And I
Most of
even
them.
referred that to a couple of my clients since I read it. So when people come to me for readings, you know, a lot of times they've lost their pets and they want to make communication with them, or they have questions spiritually. And I think the most common question is, does my pet have a soul? Do animals have a soul? And where do they go when they die? And I tell them that it's nothing different than us. And a spirit soul, not that everybody agrees with me on this, but a spirit soul can go into human form. So, you know, we go back and forth. I'm certain that I was a cat in a past life.
I think Mary was too.
I would have to agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Well, do these people not watch cartoons? All dogs go to heaven. Hello, they weren't kidding.
That's right. That's right.
I
You know,
had a
your
girl.
pets are very much around you, and they're with you for generations through the family. And I know Kim and Eric, when I was looking at your wedding pictures, I had a pet that came through, which was really nice. And they were watching you, you know, and they let me know what they see. And I use animals. I am allergic to animals, but I love them more than people. And I think I developed the allergy for a very good reason in my teens, because I would have no life.
She would have
I
a
would live
house full.
alone with animals. I'd be the weird cat lady down the end of the street if I could. But now I use them when I go out on investigations and even some very serious unsolved cases. And I communicate with the pet because they're quiet and they listen. And we don't. We don't shut off. And that's why we miss things. That's why we see ghosts and everything else at night. And we have our moments late in the evening because things are quiet and we're slowing down. Well, pets are always in that mode. And so they observe so much of what's gone on in the house and even squeal on their owners. They tell me what you guys were doing. So it's been very helpful, and they've helped me solve a lot of unanswered questions for clients.
well, they have a very honest way of looking at and being part of
Oh,
this
yes.
existence.
Mm-hmm.
And after,
Very pure.
and if you want to talk about things moving slow, if my dog moves any slower,
He can't be bothered.
man, he can't be bothered.
You know, their minds are just so simple. And, you know, here's another thing that people kind of take the wrong way when I say it, but go with me on this. Children can see and hear things very easily, and we start to lose that because we complicate everything. That's another factor, besides people telling you you can't do it, okay? Animals and children are alike in that way, that their minds are so less complicated and less cluttered that they're able to receive messages. So in that, I find that they're both very helpful. I use people's children when I go on investigations too, because the kids see and hear a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I know Spanky, when he could see, was always playing with something. Jimmy's just starting to pick it up off and on. The cat doesn't care. She really doesn't. She has her own little agenda and can't be bothered.
Cats are so cool.
You
They're
keep on
very
thinking
smart.
that. This one's going to be a hat before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
How important is it to someone that's developing their abilities? How important is it for them to find a mentor?
It's very helpful. Of course, you don't have to. You can just run with it. But, like I was just saying, for instance, when we were all at the Shanley, we all have our gifts and we're all developed, but I guarantee all of us are going to bump up to yet another level of development because we start to pick up that energy and knowledge that other people have. Just hearing about their experiences. Just sitting and talking with them like you and I did, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Just sharing those moments. It opens up the mind. And it takes your mind to another place that maybe you weren't going to look at. You say, gee, that's a good thought. Something you may have brought up to me is something I'll reflect on another day or another time. And so it brings me to another state of awareness. So it never hurts to have somebody like that as a mentor. It will speed up your development, especially if you, say, want to become a paranormal researcher. Get somebody that does that. If you want to become a reader, sit down and study with someone that is a reader professionally, and they can help move you along a little bit quicker. And there's certainly classes, I teach classes, and many of my colleagues do.
Right.
So you get someone that you feel comfortable with, that you have that chemistry with. It's just like finding a therapist. You can go to a dozen psychiatrists or therapists and you're not comfortable with them. And then you find that one person that you say, they're pretty cool. I think they know what they're talking about. And that's because you're comfortable with them. So it's the same way with anybody within the spiritual realm. Find that person that you feel you can really connect with and is on the same page with you.
Well, and like almost everybody I'm sure that's in the chat room right now will attest, there's been a huge explosion of psychic this, medium that, clairvoyant this, candy bar
Yes.
that, whatever people have been thinking to put in front of their name. And I'm not saying that they haven't had a spiritual awakening and an experience, but it's just going to be very important for them to find somebody to help focus those abilities, or you can truly spend a lot of time wandering.
Yes.
And my hint to anybody is, if you're looking for a psychic, a medium, a clair anything, go to them, talk to them, but don't give them information. If they can give you back without asking questions, that's the person to
Yes.
stick with. Because we have
Yes.
seen too many who will put psychic, so-and-so, so-and-so, but they fish. They ask you questions, and if you say no, then they blame it on something else, and after the third or fourth time, sorry, I'm not getting anything right now, and they walk away. Those
Yeah.
you got to worry about.
Be very careful. Be very guarded when you're getting just the simplest reading out there. And I tell everyone that. I have to sit there and watch fakes around me and people that take money from others. It's a job to them. It's not a calling.
Right.
and it kills me because I know what they're doing. And I always aim for high integrity and someone that respects the clients, and hopefully I treat them the way I would like to be treated. And I try to give readings from the heart. And not everybody does that. In fact, not too many do that.
Oh, I know. Well, from our experience, doing this show for well over 3 years now, we've seen people who would show up at every psychic show on every network, asking, for readings, asking for readings, and now if you go on Facebook, they're all famous psychics.
Some of them are probably ones I trained. I've had people come and take class with me. One class, that's 2 hours. I do 2-hour sessions, and that can be a group thing, or I can do individual trainings. The next year, maybe not even a year's gone by, and they're saying, so-and-so, the medium.
Right.
And I say, no, yes, you have gifts, and everybody has it to a certain degree. But, I've done this for some odd years, and it's been a while. And it takes a long time to really develop it and critique yourself and to hone it into what you want it to be. And this comes through many years of study, professional study, and I've studied at school, and I've taught at college level, and people need to take a lot of courses and to work with each other, like you're saying, Eric, to go to mentors. It doesn't happen overnight.
And it doesn't happen by going to internet shows and having others read you.
That's like, you watch Ghost Hunters, and the next weekend, you're a ghost hunter.
Well, and see, that's like, and then you get the other groups that, if you have a spirit in your house, we can pass it on.
Where are you sending it?
How arrogant are you? I mean, that's my point to those teams.
They're going to banish it. I know people that call themselves demonologists.
Oh my God, yes.
That it's a profession, and they don't understand what it takes to become a demonologist. You don't just give yourself that label. And you're not a researcher or a scientist because you can turn on a flashlight. Okay? That does not make one a scientist.
Well, there's one guy floating around. He's, I guess, 24, 25 now, maybe, who is a self-proclaimed demonologist, and you ask him where they go. He says, I don't know. Once I get it out of your house, what do you care? Huh?
I know.
Those people are dangerous.
I've heard this all before.
Those people are dangerous.
I get called in by teams. I don't just... myself, well, I can't say I don't do investigations, but I don't set out to do them. I am like a cat that I get into things, and I do go out kind of scouting around to find, unique areas and things like that. But teams will call me in, and I'll go state to state or even out of the country if they want to bring me to work on cases with them. And so when I'm there, I have to hear all these horrific stories. And I have to bite my tongue, because people will say, I'm the demonologist of the group. And I'll say, that's wonderful. How long have you been doing this? Well,
6 weeks.
My cousin just started up the group 2 months ago. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So, well, that's wonderful. What are you going to do spiritually? I start to pose questions to them. And they say, we're going to banish out the demons.
To where?
So it doesn't matter once they're gone. What do you care?
Well, I care because I don't want it showing up down the street, and visiting.
My goodness.
Yeah, and the tough questions like how,
why,
where.
When? I help people. I've actually been in the entertainment field since I was 5 years old. I come from a family that had been in show business in many different aspects, from opera singers, professional opera singers, to ballroom dancers and roller skate professionals that do like, like figure skating. They also do that on roller skates. My whole family is surrounded by that. The rest of them were politicians. They kind of cross lines there. It's kind of similar. But in any case, my background in entertainment goes all the way back. So I didn't become a spiritual person, or get into paranormal research so I could become a star. I was a star at 5 years old, and I was traveling and on Broadway and in films and commercials and everything else. That came before. So I help people in the field if I can. Not everybody, I don't do this full time. But let's say you wanted to get into something and say, how do I get on my ghost story? And so I have people come to me in the field and say, can you help me? And I had this young man, very young, and I'm talking maybe just on the brink of his 20s, come to me and say, I want to get on Ghost Hunters. How do I go to the networks? And so this is where the whole conversation was going. And I said, you know what, honey, sweetie, why don't you come back to me in a couple of years, work with some teams, take some classes. There's even things at college level now that you can kind of study. If you want to go into demonology, like he said, he was a demonologist, to maybe take some trainings, go with spiritual people, whatever. And so it was about 3 months later, I saw this person start running banners on social sites, Facebook, LinkedIn, Flickr, all of these. And he was putting that title on his name, I am a demonologist. And a year later, he started going on shows. He snowed people so well, they didn't know. He could have been saying, I've been doing this my whole life. But I know from the angle he was coming in on, he just wanted to be a star. He just wanted to be famous. Had nothing to do with demonology. So I have to sit back and see these things. And that's just one example. I see it in all different labels, mediums, psychics, mentalists, all of this, and researchers and scientists. That's what I love when someone puts that on their name. And I just have to sit back and I shake my head. And I see them get onto these shows. And I see people, either my clients or colleagues of mine, that say, wow, so-and-so was on there. Wasn't he wonderful? I hope he'll sign my autograph. I hope he'll do a picture with me when I go to Scarefest. They'll run up and take a photograph with these people. And I think, I've been doing this for 4 decades. What about that? And I use myself as an example, but there's other people out there that have done this their whole entire life. And me, they won't take a picture with, but somebody that just had their face on Ghost Hunters, they'll go in and take a photo.
Or as seen on YouTube.
They're impressed over nothing.
Well, that's because you don't have the fake tan and the gelled hair. If you did, then they'd be all over that. But you're a real person, and real people are not what they are looking for, unfortunately, at these conventions.
4 years ago, I actually auditioned for Ghost Hunters. I was called for them. And I'm not going to pick on that one show, so please don't write them and say I was picking on them. I only used it as an example. I'm talking about all the shows, and I've been on some of them myself. Sci-fi, Animal Planet, all of those, and my ghost story as well. And they're wonderful. They're entertainment. Okay, that's the thing. And, just use your common sense and look at what is in the background of these people. It's entertainment, and that's all. I have gifts. I did a whole show for MTV. I did an 8-week series, actually a mini-series, for PBS about psychism. And that was wonderful, but, they still wanted me to sit at a certain angle. and they wanted me to show a little more expression in my face. So we had to back things up that was said, and it's all putting the drama into it.
Yep.
And, I won't fake anything. That's where I draw the line. But they want you to exaggerate things.
Well, just for the record, at Scarefest, we went to get our picture taken with you, and you were so crazy busy, nobody could get near your booth. So
I get slammed. I really do. I work.
I know. I saw.
I don't just put on a cute dress and say, I'm a star. I sit there and I work, and I really develop relationships with people. And what's funny is somebody tonight actually called for a reading that met me 2 years ago at Scarefest.
Really?
Yes.
We were there then.
Yes,
that's when we
were.
met you.
Next time we're at Scarefest and we want to take a picture with you, I'm just going to do a flying elbow to whoever you're getting a reading. And they can stick.
Yeah, but I really know you guys now.
Now we have pictures with Robyn. So, yeah.
Yes.
And it's strange how you meet people. You meet people in those situations, and for a lot of people that are at conventions, it is about the networking. But it's funny how just a brief meeting somewhere, like you said, a brief meeting leads to a business connection, a year, 2 years later. And it's funny how that happens sometimes.
Well, Robyn was on one of our shows because of Scarefest 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yes.
And when we went to Scarefest, I walked up, I introduced myself. But like I said, the poor woman was so slammed you couldn't get near her.
You kind of blended in with like 85,000 people that went by me.
Yeah.
So.
But it's some of us are able to pick out certain people out of even a vast crowd.
Yes.
And just hang on to them, even if it's just in the back of your head, until later.
Yes.
That's because you're supposed to.
Well, I know this.
It was a wonderful thing.
But what I'm saying is a lot of them don't. A lot of people will, sit there and do 12 interviews on your show and meet you 9 times and still, what is your name again?
And to most people at the convention's defense, they're so hungover that next day that they really can't help it.
Yes.
It's
when
4 o'clock in
when I'm on someone's show, I really connect with them. I follow up with them. I give them readings. I get in their business. And I allow them to be part of my life, too. And I really love that. And when I see them in person, I'm one of those weird people that I actually remember being on their show from years ago. And that means something to me, that they took an hour or 2 hours out of their life to spend with me.
And now you can't get rid of us.
I know, and not everybody works that way, unfortunately.
And now you can't get rid of us, poor thing.
I know, now I'm stuck. Only because they know I have cheesecake.
That makes us sound like we're a rash.
No. I'm a stalker. I admit this.
A stalker, yes.
I'm laughing at title. He says, I just realized who this is. I've been wanting to see her for a long time.
You can put that title on your name now. Stalker.
I can. But see, I really am, so...
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It is official.
You put your dues in.
I had to marry her to keep her, to leave me alone.
Yeah.
She was stalking me, so I had to marry her.
The funny thing is, I was stalking
I
you,
took one for
yet
the team.
we were in St. Louis, where I'm from, not you are from.
Well, there's that. I'm just that good. Have that value.
Whatever. Stop.
I know I'm a treasure to you. You just want to take me out and bury me.
Right?
I know, honey.
It's okay.
Robyn, the event at the Shanley, there was a lot of very exciting things that were discovered that weekend. What was the biggest impression that was made on you that weekend?
That I'm nuts.
Well, duh. Second biggest impression that was made on you that weekend?
That was a big one.
Yeah, she is nuts, I know.
Kim's a trip. Kim is an experience. And I really feel like tying this all in with the spiritual question, she rocks the energy. She really does. And there was a female entity that was with her the whole weekend. and has been with her before. So I was kind of confused whether it was one of her grandmothers that had passed or it was someone that went to the Shanley. And, you know, I actually spent a couple of days looking and researching to find the photograph that was typical to what I see of the spirit that I saw full-bodied, that actually came to me in the night, on Friday night when I was there, and she caressed my face. And it was so loving and so warm, and I really wanted to know who that was. You know, I pay respect to the spirits. I love them, and I like to speak for them. And I wanted to give her credit for being such a loving person. You know, and in looking at that, I think it was the maid that had worked there.
Yep.
For the family.
I didn't think she was a grandparent, but because I mean she only seems to attach herself to me when I'm there.
Right. In the photo that you gave me, and people can hear the archives of a couple of shows that we did, that photo that I had of you and Mary, and the same spirit had appeared up over the cabinet, and now I know that that was in the room where people sit for the lectures, and the cabinet is right in front of you, like a hutch.
Right.
And she was up in the air. And now you gave me a few pictures of you and Mary and Patty to get my take on that. And I did see a few entities in there in different forms. But that female energy was there, and she was very angelic and just so white and airy, and you could just tell she was a very, very loving person. But she levitates. She likes to fly up over people, and that's how I saw her in the original photo that you gave me of you and Mary.
Well, and also what you didn't know was that was basically taken in our party room there.
Yes.
And
I didn't know.
And you had said she keeps saying happy birthday, and we completely forgot that it was the weekend of Mr.
She sang
Shanley's
the whole
birthday.
song, Happy Birthday. And I said, what's that about? I said, was it someone's birthday? And I had to ask you and Mary, you know, whose birthday that was. And, of course, you said, that doesn't make any sense. It wasn't anybody's birthday.
And then we remembered almost toward the end of the show that, oh, yeah, that was the weekend we threw Mr. Shanley a birthday party.
It was Mr. Shanley's birthday, and you were having a birthday party. So the spirit knew what she was telling me.
Yeah, she ratted us out, Mary.
See? They tell on you every time. I find that so not only interesting, but entertaining.
Yeah, just what I need. A bunch of people who I can't even fight with snitching me out.
I have no fear of ghosts or spirits. I love them. I welcome them, even the troubled ones. I welcome them to come and hang out with me. I'm not afraid of who follows me home. Everybody's here. They're welcome here. And, you know, this is the approach that I use when we're out on investigations and gatherings like we were at.
Well, you know, a lot of people have a misconception because of Hollywood that every time you see a ghost, you know, half their face is going to be rotting and falling off and everybody's scary. But a lot of people kind of think that people, the image that you show when you pass over is the best, what you consider to be your best time or best features forward. But do you think that
when you looked your best at that particular age,
right.
Yes,
But
sometimes.
But do you,
you know, I know that spirits, I know factually that a spirit has passed in their 80s or 90s, and yet I know quite clearly that the person they're showing me is like in their 30s or 40s. And because they, especially men, seem to go like in their 40s there, male spirits, and they'll show me a younger, very stout and muscular them, you know, more youthful. And it seems like female spirits are, you know, they're more the grandmother type, and they seem to be more comfortable with aging. And, you know, it's funny the consistency that I see in that, in my readings. And, you know, but they'll show themselves at a different age that they were happy with. And I'll probably do the same thing when I'm gone.
But do you think spirits change how they appear to each person that they show themselves to?
They can. I mean, I've heard of that happening. And they can be anything they want to be. They can change their appearance. They can be places simultaneously. So there's no set rules. And I think that's the beauty of it. And when I teach you, you know, if you sat down with me for a class, I can tell you about all the wonderful possibilities. And it's more my teaching you not to limit yourself. And I had years and years of having issues around limitations. And that's because I had 12 years of parochial school. I had 3 years that I studied for convent, that I could have taken my final vows to become a nun. And I still love my faith, my inner faith, very, very much. And so looking outside the box when we're not supposed to, and many religions are that way, you're not supposed to ask questions, I was limiting myself. And that took a lot of work for me to let go of that and really see the full magnitude of what my God has. You know, I use the word God, but the divine energy that's there in the universe, it's endless. And spirit is that way too. It's not just a tiny little orb. They're all part of the universe. And I know that it's probably sounding kind of flaky, but it is just so amazing and so magnificent.
Well, that is something that we talked about a lot that night, was the wasted time we've been fighting over vocabulary.
The labels, I have to stop. You know, even with myself, I always back up when I say God now, because even a 3-letter word doesn't even seem good enough for the magnificence of that I found in my faith. It's just so grand. I don't want to limit any of it. And I don't use angel and devil, and I don't use heaven and hell, because even that limits us, and it takes us mentally and visually to a particular place. Heaven doesn't have gates. I'll clue you in. There's no gates there.
Neither does hell.
There's no walls. You know, nothing's territorial, and hell doesn't either. In fact, see, I was raised with my grandmother, old world Italian, and she used to say, I'm not going to heaven. She said, I want to go to hell, where I can be where all my friends are.
Right? I won't know the crowd in heaven. I'll know everybody down in hell.
I wasn't afraid of that. She took all the fear out of it, because I thought, that's our Saturday night party. She had some wine, she had some cheese, she had all the neighbors over. She'd do anything for a party. And meatballs. And regatta pie.
I want to go hang out with
I know you
Grandma.
And I
do.
was okay with that. And I started to learn about karma and about balancing and positive and negative. It's not heaven and hell. You want to call it that? That's okay. But I've come away from that. And I share it with people. And if you want to come into this journey a little bit further with me, you're more than welcome to.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Don't point at me.
Point at you if I want to.
Stop it.
I'm allowed. You know, that's something else. Speaking of labels, good and evil. Those are two very overused words. Because a lot of what people consider good and evil is just natural. You know,
Well,
a lion isn't intently evil. It's just natural. It does what it does.
Well, isn't it also... Now you made me lose it because you kept going. Never mind.
All of these labels, even things that are demonic, people that are demonic, situations that are evil and wicked, people that are so troubled beyond words, they live right here. They're right here on earth with us. And I think I kind of got away from the labels of that, angels and everything else, because I've met angels right here on earth. People that are so good and so kind in a very, very spiritual, divine way, that they have just put themselves out there I'm not saying they went and got me a cheese sandwich. I'm talking about them putting their life on the line to save others, or to even spiritually help move people by taking the time to say something good and healing to people. So those are angels. And that's where, what's positive and what's negative. So, yeah, the words, we need to rethink that, and again, going back to the entertainment field, a lot of damage happened from that.
Yeah, well, that's because...
Okay, wait, I got it.
Go ahead. I don't want
Okay, isn't bad and good, or good and bad, however you want to put it, each individual person's interpretation of... Because, I mean, what I may think is bad, ugly, nasty, someone else may just absolutely adore.
Well, it's all... This entire conversation boils down to your perspective, to a certain degree. Somebody that isn't enlightened or isn't open-minded to things is going to listen to this conversation and think we're three wackos talking about the woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're enlightened, if you're spiritually enlightened, and you have an open mind, and you're just trying to expand your existence on this planet.
Well, like Robyn and I were discussing going into a building with respect. At Morse Mills,
That's the key.
The one team goes in, they've always got an attitude, blah, 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 and they're like, oh, there's evil spirits here. And we go in, and...
It's like Grandma's house.
Yeah, it's like Grandma's house. We have never had an issue there.
Yeah. So it does. It all depends on your perspective and the energy that you're putting into it.
It's just...
And see, I've tried to, and as I said, I have very strong background in Catholicism, but I have studied theology, and I've studied all different faiths, and I continue because they're endless what's out there. I can start my own religion. In fact, I kind of did. I call it Robynism because I have my own take on things, and I have a feeling Eric's going to wind up doing the same thing. And it's what's right for us, and it's how we connect with that divine energy. It's our path. We make it, and we pave the way as we go. And looking at Eastern cultures, we know that they recognize the positive and negative, and good and evil is right within us. We have both poles in us, and we have good days and bad days, and good moments and bad moments. And are we going to do something good in this lifetime, or are we going to choose to do the negative? And then we get people like him that's kind of in between. She's just naughty. So.
Yes, but if I wasn't like this, I wouldn't be me.
That's the beauty in you. She's just very playful and very, very naughty.
Hey, sometimes you coax me into it, though, so
Of course. Well, that way I can blame you.
But absolutely.
See, I think it and you say it.
I think there's a whole group of you out there who think it just to see what I'll do next.
No.
Yeah.
No. Not your friends. They're all angelic and stuff.
My friends are. This is the blue lady. Mary is the lady.
Okay.
Patty
is a Canadian.
With the moose.
With the moose eye.
Yeah. Tracy's the Smuxy girl. So see, yeah, we've got our own little thing
Cynthia.
going. Cynthia is my love bug.
Cynthia's an instigator, though.
Cynthia's not an instigator.
How can I say this? How would you suggest somebody that's in a situation where they're with a quote unquote less than honorable person? What is your suggestion to that person on how to handle it? And the only reason I ask is it's starting to become people are starting to get associated, and they don't know how to stop it. Do you have any suggestions on people how to do that, even if it is just spiritually?
He's trying to toss me, Robyn. Watch him.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm gonna cut her.
I know. I'm trying to see where he's going with this.
Well,
before I answer.
if somebody knows or is associated with somebody that is less than honorable,
Yes.
What is your suggestion to that person on how to separate themselves from that other person?
You're saying a person associating with somebody that is unsavory.
Yes.
Right.
So is this person someone you would have a relationship with? Or is it a stranger?
Oh, it's just a stranger. It's just in general.
Okay. So generally, that's where you have to kind of weigh things out, and it's very tricky. And I've been in this situation many times that I see something, I make an observation, or I know something's really, really wrong with the person they're hanging out with or associating with, and I don't want them to get burned, maybe the way I did, or somebody else that they had a relationship with. And so you have to be very careful how you tell that person, or do you tell that person at all? Is it going to be helpful? Think of how that person is going to take it, because sometimes they wind up turning on you.
Right. No, and that's the reason I ask, is that unfortunately that's becoming a very common kind of occurrence where people don't know how. Oh, great. People don't know how to step away, sort of. So if they're very quiet, they keep getting associated with that, and it really does nothing but hurt them in the end. I was just curious if you, because of your experience in the entertainment industry, if you'd been around that before, and how people could do that with class and dignity,
Every day. I don't know. The road to hell was paved with good intentions, as they say. And I've certainly been in that hot seat many times. Some people love me, and you will hear some horrible gossip that's made up about me because I tell the truth. And I do confront those people. And I do go to them and say, that's okay if you're friends with so-and-so or you're doing business with them. In a professional sense, I have to accept that. Those people are not going to die off and go away. They're still working. They're still associating with my colleagues and such. And so I have to risk telling them the situation. Be careful, because something has gone very wrong with this other person. And sometimes I even see them being abusive to them. Like you're saying, there's almost a pattern, and they keep getting into those situations with people that they're mistreated and misguided and even robbed with money many times in business. Myself included. So sometimes it's come back to bite me.
Right.
So I just tell you, you have to be very careful who you choose to be open and honest with. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to say we should be honest at all times. But if it's going to damage your relationship with them and it's going to cause havoc all the way around, it's probably better to leave it.
Well, I'm just trying to help people out there. I don't have that problem. Most people, I'm a black and white type of person. People either love me or hate me, and I, for the same reasons you mentioned, is I'll tell the truth. I don't sugarcoat things.
Yeah.
And especially in business, there's just no time for it.
I'm telling people to be guarded and be very careful when they share a truth like that with somebody and try to guide them in another direction. I will never stop being that way. I am boldly honest. I can't sleep if I don't tell you something. I just can't sleep. I'm that kind of person. And so I have burned my bridges with a few people in the field, and certainly in entertainment, some, very popular people that you guys know. And that's okay, because I can sleep with myself at night. I feel like I cleansed myself by coming clean and telling the truth. And I confront them head on. I go right to the source. That's one thing with me. I don't talk all the way around. I go right to the source and say, you know what, this is what's bothering me. Or I'll even go to the person that you're saying maybe is the unsavory one, and I'll tell them, don't treat other people like that. You know, I tend to defend the underdog, and if I saw, let's say, you know, Kim was doing business with somebody and I saw them really cheating her, I would go to them and tell them how I felt. You know, on her defense, because a lot of times people don't see what's going on.
She's from South St. Louis. I don't think people want to do that. I can't suggest that.
That's okay. They sometimes they mess with the wrong people.
Yes, they do.
And I bite.
Yes, you do.
I do too.
See?
And it takes a while for things to die down, and you know, I have to watch all the rumors and all the ugly things. And I thought, well, if people are going to make rumors about me, I'm going to start one on my own.
Right?
So I made some real juicy ones up about myself, and I put them out there.
You have to. I mean, if you're going to talk smack about me, at least make it really good. And if you can, I can make it better.
Yeah,
I will add to it.
And I wasn't trying to take the show down any kind of dark path or anything. I just wanted to make sure people know that it's when you're talking about the entertainment side of things, it's for sure a business.
Yeah,
but
it's
people,
money, and it's money, and it's a business.
But people need to also understand that if you do readings professionally, it is also a business. You know, and I just know that from looking at our group in the chat room, that's a pretty good mixture. People need to understand that when it comes to business, it's all business.
I do this full time. This is my job. Like some people get up at, 5 o'clock and they go to work and they come home at dinner time. This is what I do professionally. I'm either doing research all weekend long or I'm doing conventions. And in between there, I'm doing life coaching. I do holistic life coaching for people that, I'm taking very serious cases, individuals that are going through crisis and trauma, domestic violence, very horrific deaths and accidents that they've gone through, and lost loved ones. And I help them, and it takes a lot out of me. And yes, I do get paid for that, just like you guys do, for your job. And people forget that.
Yeah, and you'll never hear me I'm not one of those ones that says, well, if it's a gift from God, you should just give it away. Well, yeah, I got to survive and eat while I'm down here, folks.
But you know what? They don't say that to musicians or artists.
And that is a gift.
Yeah.
That truly is a gift, and I believe music is very spiritual. My first degree is in music, and I studied at Berkeley in Boston, and I was an opera singer, and that's a great passionate piece of me in my life. And I see the same in the spiritual realm, but I got paid for being on stage to sing. And it's the same thing with spiritual. You could do it at your kitchen table for your friends and your family, and I certainly did that as well for many, many years. But this is a whole span of a lifetime, and I've really put my dues in, and I really know what I'm doing. This is my expertise, as much as we can in something that is spiritual. That you know how that goes. I mean, we have nothing proven, but it's a proof to me. And that's what I try to share. And that's what I do best. And so I do it professionally for money. That's my job. The difference with me is I'm not charging $500 for a reading, and I could. And there are people that you see on TV that work with me in person that tell me I should be charging that, and I'm not going to, because that's where I do see it as being spiritual. I want to reach a lot of people out there, as many as possible. And there's thousands upon thousands of dollars that I give each year. And this isn't to have a pat on my back, but just to let people know that do think I'm stepping outside my boundaries, I shouldn't charge for these things. I donate everything to fundraisers. I travel to different states on my own money. fly there, put myself up in hotels many times. And now I've had so many of them come to me that I try to limit it, so I've planned out, 10 of them for the year that I'll do as fundraisers. And that's very important to give back.
Yeah.
And you'll be in Texas when?
Kind of soon, I think. I lived in Texas for 5 months.
Yeah, well, nobody tells me nothing. I'm a big mushroom. And I have a new chair. Just so everybody knows, I have a new chair. That's why Kim and I are the same height now.
Yeah.
My new chair is just a little lower.
Mine is set higher.
I figured she knocked you down a few pegs.
She tries. She really tries. Well, Robyn, as much as I hate to say this, we're getting to the end of this. Again.
I hate this part.
I know. But we always bring you back, so it's not like, we forget.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a regular on Penn now.
That's right.
If you ever want to do a show, let us know.
Yes. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, probably. Don't forget, Animals Impacting the World. Get it today. It's available on Amazon, Nickel, Kindle, Nook. I don't know why I was going to say Nickel. I don't know.
Schiffer Publishing.
Schiffer Publishing, Amazon.
Yeah, he was thinking Nickelodeon.
Yeah, or Nickelback, or Nickelback. They're from Canada. I don't know. So somewhere in there.
Yes.
And I'm sure, from what I've read so far, Tarot Title will be contacting you to be a guest on his show on here too.
Yes.
So you'll pretty much hit all the Penn shows.
Yeah.
Yes, I will, and I'll be on Misha's show next week. And I really look forward to getting to know them better. And I know they have to be really special people to be here on Penn. And I really love what you're doing with the network and how it's growing.
Thank you. And we appreciate all your support, trust me.
And we love you.
Thank you, and the same here.
And we did shock her for her birthday.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we sent that message over to the other
Oh,
network.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, you did come on to that show for my birthday party.
But we're going to have to skedaddle.
The Alchemical Artisans Hour comes on at midnight, which is in just an hour and 45 minutes. So come back and join us then.
And just saying, we'll be back and live Monday.
And they will have a huge announcement. So tune in if you want to find out what it is. Nanny Nanny Boo Boo.
And with that, we are out of here. Thank you so much, Robyn. Robyn, say
Thank you, my loves. Mwah.
So you're out terrorizing the general public again, or?
They said 2 months,
Ow.
pretty much, and it's going to take about 6 months for me to get back to normal.
Yow.
Yes, I was normal once.
You'll have it in 3.
I can't see her sitting still that long.
No.
She'd be like, yeah, you
No.
people are crazy. I'm out of here.
Today was my first day without crutches. So, and, I can go I don't know, 6'8". I'm not good. I don't know, a few yards. I'm trying to measure. I'm thinking a football field, but that was a nice thought.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you're up and moving around.
Oh, and
you know.
your entire Shanley cheering squad has made it to the chat rooms. If you can't see that.
Yes, Patty brought
wonderful.
pom-poms.
Oh, yes, a lot of friends.
Mary's.
Wonderful Patty.
Mary's.
I had a wonderful time at the Shanley. I just loved it.
Cynthia's in there, and Mary's in there. And yeah, the whole
So nice.
the whole gang.
Well, I just want to commend the two of you and Mary Gasparo for doing the most wonderful time that everybody had, just all friends coming together and spiritual things that happened to us and a connection that we've made since that, we're all kind of in each other's business at the moment, which is really nice to know that you have that love and support that's coming out, all because of your event.
And we fed her.
Way to go.
Yes,
You did
you
good.
had meatballs,
You did
you had
good,
pasta,
Buckaroo.
you had salad.
We had all kinds of craziness going on.
Yes. But I brought the regatta pie.
Yes, she did. We give her total credit for the pie. Because, believe it or not, we had no cheesecake anywhere to be found. And in walks Robyn with the only cheese we had.
Yeah.
So
what's good about that is it is lower in calories. So.
Well, not after I ate the whole pie, you know.
Well, that's the thing, portion control. But that's the type of thing you have to have more than one piece.
Usually.
I only got one piece because once everybody heard how good it was...
Well, you took one piece in the whole pie.
No, seriously. Once everybody heard how good it was or took a bite off someone else's plate, it was gone.
Yeah.
There was no going back for seconds on anything there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things that we've talked about, especially since the event, there was a lot of very spiritual connections that were made by people that had never met each other. And I was wondering if you could talk about that. That's a pretty rare event to have that happen, especially at a convention.
I think so, and it was just a combination of the people that you had selected to be part of that. And I think the blend of it was a very good mix. And, it's kind of hit or miss when you do certain things like that. It doesn't always work out that way. But you had a lot of people that were there. Not all of us, but some of us were very well developed as far as mediumship and psychic abilities and all of that. And we tend to be more the spiritual side that we're connected with. And, D-Dove, Patty, that's, in the chat room, just wonderful people that I know really know their stuff. They're very connected. And I think, and I'm going to touch on what happened with Kim, her moment that she had. What I want to say is that when all of us are together and you have people that are so developed and so focused on what their profession is and our calling, that we start to almost bounce off each other, the energy, and we raise the energy in the room. And so people like him start to have these aha moments and sightings and, clairaudience. They'll hear something or they'll see a shadow. Or they start to get into deep conversations like Eric and I did late in the evening and into the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think it's the combination. You start to play off each other. And it can happen the opposite way. Sometimes we go to these conventions and everybody has an attitude and everybody's just in a nasty place. And that makes you bounce off each other. You kind of feed into that. And I'm very happy with the way this went. And I look forward to doing it again with you.
Well, it wasn't an aha moment. It was a holy crap moment.
Yeah. You used a few other words.
The spiritual 2x4, so to speak?
Actually, what I said was, and I quote, "What the hell is this?" Robyn had handed me her camera to show me a picture she had taken of Patty on the steps.
Yes. Clairvoyantly, I saw something.
When she handed me the camera, I'm looking at a video that has nothing to do with the steps or Patty or anybody living in that building.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, Patty, you saw it as you handed it to me. You saw emotion as you handed it to me.
Tomorrow starts tomorrow. June does.
The weirder side of Shreveport.
And it's so cool that, this is actually a city doing this.
Yeah, maybe if you're really lucky, you'll get a small town interested, but this is a big city.
That's right.
Well, it's a big city according to Duck Dynasty.
Well, yeah, but anything over 500 is a big city according to Duck Dynasty.
Well, around here, anything over 5,000 is a big city.
Yeah, but go to our website or just Google Downtown Paranormal Festival in Shreveport, and it'll come up.
Or just put Shreveport Paranormal and it'll pop up.
Yep.
Because that's how I keep finding it.
But tonight,
We have a fantabulous guest.
you know what? She's absolutely so fantastic that on the fantastic scale, she is like way off, and on the good end, way over there.
Yeah. And she makes a very, very... She brings excellent ricotta pies.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. There ain't no lie about that. That was almost as good as sex right there. I'm here to tell you right now. Almost.
I don't know.
Yeah, but there's
Depends
days.
on the day.
There's
days when it's better. Anyway.
And for those of you that don't understand that, as you get older, it will make more sense to you.
Yeah. Anyway, our guest this evening is...
The Right Reverend.
The Right Reverend. She is a paranormal researcher. She is an author. And she has many gifts, but I'm not going to label those gifts. Our guest this evening is Reverend Robyn Marie.
The Right Reverend Robyn Marie.
Not the left Reverend.
Not the left one, because the left one... But the right one, right on.
Good evening, my friend.
Good evening.
My friend, see, she's talking to you. She don't like me no more.
No. There's days.
There's days.
I understand her point. There's days.
It's kind of iffy.
How have you been since the Shanley? Because I know you had surgery that next day, you poor thing.
Yes, the next morning at 5:30 a.m., they took off a meniscus tear that I had. So I have been laid up and healing from that and living on potato salad. So
I've been through stretches where I've done that too, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's driven me crazy being in bed for 3 weeks.
I can imagine, because you're pretty active. I mean,
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
So I pretty much had to shut down all business, and the last week or so I was feeling a little better. Every day is a little bit better.
Did they give you a time frame? Is it going to be like a couple more weeks?
shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarm setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are goes hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
Well, hi everybody, and welcome to Pema TV.
Welcome to Friday, May 31st, 2013, the last day of May.
Oh my goodness,
Already.
somebody's got a birthday next month, and that person's going to be way old.
Leave my daughter out of this.
Yeah, I know, Heather. I'm sorry. I apologize, Heather. Anyway, lots of exciting stuff. Going to have some really big announcements I don't think we're quite ready for yet. I don't have anything put up for we can't do it because I don't have the shot set up to announce it. So it'll just have to wait till probably Monday night. Monday night would probably be a lovely time to make
Monday
that
night would be a lovely time. But I would like to point out with our lovely guest this evening, you can go to her site and get one of these beautiful shirts. See this shirt? Yes, you need one of these shirts. I had to stalk her for a long time to get this shirt. Huh.
Yes, you did. A couple of years, actually.
And drove 27 hours.
Yeah.
That's how important this shirt is.
Next big festival we're going to be a part of will be the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of June, which is next